Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and yeah, this is somewhat of a delayed video because today's video is going to be the top 5 of the month for the month of August. Um, or is it August? Yeah, of course it's August. Of course, I'm just so stupid. Well, so these are like the 5 best films I've watched for the very first time during the month of August. And the next video is probably going to be another top 10 video because I think I have at least 2 or 3 saved lists on IMDb, which I still haven't made a video about yet. So probably 2 or 3 more top 10 videos that I'm gonna upload anytime near soon. So, but anyway, that's for another video. Today is gonna be the video for the best films I've watched during the month of August, like I mentioned before. So yeah, let's begin right away. First up, at number 5, we have a film called The Defiant Ones from 1958 with Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis. This is a very, I mean, this film would not be made today because there's a bunch of like kind of like discrimination towards Sidney Poitier's character in the film. But you also have to keep in mind that this is from a film which is from a completely different type of era, if you get what I mean. So, but I would say the chemistry between Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis' character, those characters were really memorable, and I really liked their performances in general. Yeah, and I mean the ending is kind of like irritating in a way, but I think it's still interesting as well. So, yeah, the Defiant Ones at number 5. At number 4, we have the Korean film Memories of Murder, which is directed by the same guy who directed Parasite, which came out in, was it 1 or 2 years ago right now? But I mean, that's probably one of the best films I've seen in a long time. So I decided to watch this one as well because I think this was on TV at some point. And this is basically about a serial killer going around in South Korea, and it's very, I mean, it's sort of like they tried to make it as realistic as possible, and like the ending is very confusing, but if you know about the case, you know why they had to end the film like that. So I'm not going to spoil anything about the ending or anything, but overall I think it's a very interesting serial killer type film. So I mean, it sort of like has some sort of like reminiscent, I think it's quite similar to the Zodiac case. I know that sounds really weird. I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with Zodiac signs or anything like that, but it has that feeling to it. I mean, that sounds a little bit strange, but maybe, yeah, that's just my personal opinion. So, but anyway, Memories of Murder at number 4. At number 3, we have a Western film from, this is actually a quite late Western. This is from 1972, and the film is called The Revengers with William Holden, and this is basically your typical Western film. It's like about William Holden and his family that kind of gets like slaughtered. Not himself, of course, but his family gets slaughtered, and he decides to recruit some criminals to get rid of the criminals that killed his family. But after a while, he realizes maybe these criminals are not really trustworthy. So there's a bunch of tension between him and the gang that he recruits to kill the other gang that killed his family. And I would say this is a very strange thing to say, but Ernest Borgnine, he seems like he didn't really know what type of role he was going to play in this, because he plays one of the criminals that William Holden's character ended up recruiting. And he's so strange. I mean, he's quite funny as well, but he just seems like he's out of another film. Like he was prepared for another type of film and just got put into this film. But I mean, I'm not really saying it's anything bad or anything. It just seems like he's very special. It's a very special type of character in this. So, but anyway, if you like Western films in general, yeah, pick this one up because I think this has some really good gunfight sequences as well. So, yeah, the Revengers at number 3. At number 2, we have a film which I would say is a very like feel good type of film, like the perfect film to watch if you really like sad or like down or like depressed or something. The film is called Harold and Maude, and this came out in 1971. And I think most people probably know about this one or maybe heard of it at least, because I think this is considered a classic. And yeah, it's about like this guy that gets he kind of befriends this older woman, and for some weird reason, both of them share the same interest. They go to different type of funerals of people they don't even know, which is a very strange and niche thing to like uh, be into. I mean, that sounds really strange. And just because of they're both pretty damn strange, and maybe that's the reason why they end up like really like caring for one another, and they are having like really good like bond really. So I mean, it's a very bittersweet, like charming little film overall. So yeah, Harold and Maude at number 2. And at number 1 is a film which I think is actually on. I'm not too sure. I think it is on IMDb's top 250 list of the best films of all time. And yeah, once again, this is a period to say like it's from a special type of era, I would say. But the film is called To Kill a Mockingbird, and Gregory Peck is amazing in this, and I mean every single actor in this did an amazing job. And even though you get to follow some like kid actors in this, like very like small children, usually when you have that, sometimes some of the kid actors seems to be really bad or something like that. But in this situation, I would say every single child actor did a phenomenal job, and I was very surprised, and like it just really blew me away with their performances. I did not expect that to happen when I watched it, but when I started watching this film. But yeah, I'm not going to spoil too much about it if you haven't seen it. But I mean, I think this is another one that is considered a classic, and maybe most people have already seen it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is on the top 250 list on the IMDb page. So, but anyway, To Kill a Mockingbird at number 1. So that's all of the films, not all of the films, but the best films that I watched during the month of August for the very first time. So, and like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, next video is probably going to be a top 10 list. I have at least 2 or 3 like top 10 lists that I haven't published yet on like video on YouTube, but I have them saved on IMDb. So, but anyway, that's for another time. And until then, keep your eyes open for the next video. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.